Do not attempt to adjust your device screen. We are in control of the broadcast. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. The time has come. Please stand by for a live transmission from Halloween Daily News. Yes, it is that time again. Monday night on the airwaves in Haddonfield. We are live. Let's see who else is awake and alive out there tonight. Hello, Haddonfield, and happy Michael Myers Monday. Welcome to it. If you're new here, my name is Matt. We are Halloween Daily News, and this late winter, freezing and rotten, but somehow still burning jack-o'-lantern that you just found yourself in the middle of is what we like to call Michael Myers Monday Live. Our gathering, our hangout, our communion, if you will, with the greatest fan community in all of the interwebs, or anywhere else for that matter. So, welcome if you're new. I hope you'll stay. And that brings me to everybody else. What is up, y'all? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Thank you so much for being here. It is Monday, February 16, 2026. And we are live. It has been a minute. It's been about a month worth of minutes, by the way. In fact, so I am very happy to see you guys. And again, we didn't give you a lot of heads up that we were going to be doing this tonight. So I am glad that some of you got the notification and were able to turn out. I see David Suber already lighting it up in the live chat. David Hyams here as well, another one of our great supporters. Let's see who else We got in here Ben Brown, Crystal Lake as well, Teen Wolf. Um, a lot of the crew is in here. Blake, one of our illustrious channel members. That reminds me, channel memberships are just $5 a month, and you get all kinds of killer perks, including early access to our exclusive interviews and lots of other pre-recorded content, which Blake has right now. As soon as we're done here, if he hadn't already, he can go watch our next interview that's not going to go public until tomorrow, but it's up for early access for our channel members. It looks like Michael Myers is lurking in the live chat as well. Who else we got in there? Is that Skull saying hello? Welcome and happy Michael Myers Monday. See Phil in here. Solid Saturn. Awesome. Great to see all you guys. Thank you again for being here. I don't anticipate this being a very long stream. We don't have a ton to talk about, but we do have some fun new merch reveals that just came out of Toy Fair over the weekend, and maybe a flashback clip or two along the way, possibly. And then at some point this evening in the second half of the show, I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Halloween illustrated novelization. That's right. I know it came out like 2 years ago. Well, I only recently finally got around to actually reading the entire thing from cover to cover. And so I got some thoughts on that, and I'm looking forward to that discussion. And we got some exciting announcements too. So that's where we're going to start here tonight. Again, happy Michael Myers Monday to you all. And yep, wearing my same sweatshirt from last month, the last time we did this. I told you what, it's a little cold down here in this dungeon that we call the Halloween Daily News office, and so I'm gonna be wearing it until temperatures warm up just a little bit more down here. Before we get into the main meat and treats of our show tonight, just a few announcements and upcoming programming that you can look forward to here on Halloween Daily News. Again, channel memberships, it's just $5 a month. It goes a long way to support the channel, and channel members get early access. That's one of their perks to our exclusive interviews. And this week we've got two brand new interviews coming your way. The first one is dropping tomorrow with writer-director Adam McDonald. He is the filmmaker behind the brand new zombie horror movie. It's called This Is Not a Test. It is in theaters this Friday, and I spoke to Adam last week all about what makes this zombie story unique in a world of a million zombie stories, and the decision to go fast zombie versus old school lumbering zombie. And of course we talked Halloween as well. That's a fun one, so look for that to drop tomorrow publicly, or if you're a channel member, you can watch it right now, but you might as well wait just a little bit longer and let us finish the live stream, then go check it out. Then later on this week on Friday, a brand new exclusive conversation with the owner and head of Ghoulish Productions. This is the Mexico-based Halloween product company. You probably own some of their masks right now in your house. They make masks, costumes, appliances, decor, and I had the great pleasure and honor of talking to Mr. Esteban Esponda last week, and that full conversation is coming this Friday here to Halloween Daily News. Again, channel members will have early access tomorrow to that, but that one, it's a great interview. It's a great story. If you didn't know, I didn't even know the full history of Ghoulish Productions and how far back they go. The company's been around for more than 70 years, and I did not realize that. And they have literally been living and breathing Halloween in their blood. It is a family-owned business, and Esteban is the latest in his family to be running that business. So both of those awesome conversations. I think they're awesome. I'm very proud of them. I had a great time talking to those guys. I think you guys are going to like them. Very different interviews, as we like to mix it up around here, you know. Um, so look for those coming this week, in addition to some other surprises also coming right here to the HDN YouTube channel. Now, got an exclusive to break to you guys here tonight. This is a very exciting announcement. I want you to mark your calendars and save the date for 1 week from tonight. That's right. Next week on Michael Myers Monday, August 23rd, I am very excited to welcome a very special guest here with us live. And he is going to be here to discuss just the state of the convention industry and maybe the state of Michael Myers fandom. I am talking about our friend and yours, Mr. Sean Clark, of course, of Horror's Hallowed Grounds, of course, of Convention All-Stars, of course, of The Thing with Two Heads, and lots of other awesome stuff. The Halloween reunion events, not the least of which among them, that he's obviously very instrumental in. So it's been quite a while since I've had really just any extended conversation with Sean on or off the clock. But this is going to be fun. It's going to be a very kind of informal hangout, and he's just going to be hanging out with us and taking your questions, as we like to do here whenever we have a chance to have a guest here on Michael Myers Monday Live. So that's going to be a very special one, a very exciting one. I hope you guys will be here. Come and again, have your questions ready. You know, I've interviewed Sean before one-on-one a few years back, and really kind of got all the backstory of his story and kind of getting his convention career started. And I will link that video in a comment as soon as we're done. I should have done it before I started tonight. I always forget one or two of the links before I get going. But that is a written interview back in the days before Zoom. You can check that out anytime, though, at HalloweenDailyNews.com. And again, as soon as we're done here, I'll link it down in the comment, that original interview. But this is going to be fun. We haven't done something like this in a long time. And, of course, a lot has happened in the world, and in his world, in our world, in your world. And so it's going to be a good time. I hope you'll be here. The same hallowed time and the same hallowed channel. That is 8:31 p.m. Eastern, and out there on the West Coast, that will be 5:31 p.m. And for the rest of you, you can, I trust, figure it out. I'm not going to do the math right this minute, but very excited to announce that to you guys first, and make sure you're here for that. We're going to have the link up for that one a couple days early as well, so you can turn on the reminder earlier than just a few hours than is typically the way we do our Mondays around here. But this will be a special event, special occasion. So again, I look forward to me not doing all the interviewing. I want you guys to bring your questions for Mr. Clark when he is here next week. All right, so I think that's all of the programming notes for this week at this time that I can announce and reveal. Again, there are other things coming. I've got some cool Scream-related stuff coming as we get closer to Scream 7. Maybe a Ghostface-related unboxing might be coming sometime in the next week to week and a half. And lots of other cool stuff coming here to the channel. So all that and lots more you got to look forward to. Yes. Thank you guys, David. And David, thank you both for your support as always. Byron has checked in. What's up, man? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Thanks for being here. Yes. Yes, Teen Wolf. You know where I'm going tonight with the merch. Of course, we're going to be talking about that one. Um, Give me just a couple minutes, and then we'll be there. Um, Excuse me, guys. Again, I am ready for some warm weather. This cold weather does not do well with my sinuses. All right. We've got a couple news bites to look at, and it's pretty much all new Myers merch related stuff, both from the toy fair just over the weekend and otherwise. But this first heads up, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. This is not a new 26 item by any means, but it's just an awesome one, and we have talked about it on here before, and it's just every time I look at it, every time I think about it, and I think about it probably an unhealthy amount, it is just amazing that we live in this world where products like this exist for us. And of course, I am talking about the insane 25-foot Michael Myers inflatable. We've talked about it on here before. It was released a couple of years back. I think in 2023 was its first year released, right in time for the 45th anniversary. It is officially licensed from the original Halloween '78, and I am just giving you a heads up. It is back in stock. It was in stock, and then it was out of stock, but as of right now, it is in stock right here from our friends at Lowe's.com, with a new price tag of $408. Originally, it was $500, I want to say, when it was first released. Maybe more than that. The very first year, I'm sure last year when it was a HalloweenCostumes.com exclusive, it was more in the 500 range. And as we've talked about here before on Michael Myers Monday, Lowe's now carrying a lot of products made by Fun.com, the parent company of HalloweenCostumes.com. And many of these items, like this Myers Giant inflatable, were previously exclusive to HalloweenCostumes.com. So it's notable now that it is available elsewhere. Don't know if they're going to be available in Lowe's stores this year. That's a whole other thing. And as you can see, every variation is in there. They've got the 15-footer for $250, the 8-footer for $108, and then the one that I own currently, the 6-footer, with the moving head and slashing arm. You can watch my hilarious, I thought it was a little bit hilarious when he's falling down a bunch, unboxing. Yeah, if I had this one, I don't even know how we would have room in our front yard, in our driveway even, to put this guy up. I don't know. But there he is, and I did think to include our affiliate link to this one this time in the description below. If you want to order it, I don't know how long he's going to last on the Lowe's site, but as of right now, there he is. The biggest Michael Myers collectible ever. Also recently unveiled since our last gathering here is a new print by artist Matthew Therian. We have shared his artwork and just marveled at his artwork before on previous broadcasts. But this is his first Halloween-based work in, I believe, a few years, is what he said on social media. And he just titles this one 1978. It's available on his website, but I just wanted to showcase this awesome artwork that we can look at. I love the vintage look of it, and I love that it's got two of the best moments. I mean, I like Lori and Michael kind of bleeding into each other. That makes sense. But I love down here where we've got Michael in the Bob glasses, the ghost Bob glasses. Uh, One of my all-time favorite scenes, and just Michael, like I always see Michael being a prankster, and then Michael down in the sheets, which is, really kind of haunted Michael. If ever there was one, like the shape just haunting Lori. Some really cool artwork, and again, you can order prints at Matthew Therian's website right now. We did just celebrate Halloween. Did you guys do any Halloween celebrating? This was unveiled the week of Valentine's Day from U2's. It's this new company, Youtooz. Well, but you guessed it. They published. They released and officially licensed from Halloween 2 Valentine's Michael Myers plush. What? This is insane. Let's take a closer look at this Michael Myers Valentine's plush. Look, he's even got some blood splatter on his pink coveralls, some blood stain on his boots, it looks like. His hair seems to have a little more reddish tint, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's just this photo. But how funny is this? Let's look at another view. Now, this is a timed release. So I did put a link down in the description if you want to go and snag yours. And I know some of our collectors in the audience will be placing their order if they haven't already. But this is one of those things, again, at first I was like, is this for real? Did like an independent artist just make this unlicensed? Oh no. Nope. It's for real. So, not just Halloween, bringing the creepy and the hallowed spirit into Valentine's Day, which I am all for. If we have to live through these other holidays, let's at least bring our hallowed spirit into them. And the more I see other, companies and businesses doing that, releasing ghosts with the hearts, or skeletons doing with the hearts for Valentine's, for example, I'm all for it. So of course the shape is going to be there. It's $29.99 priced here, and again, you can order it right now. I put the link down in the description, but it's at youtooz.com. The pre-order estimated time of departure is in August. But as of this recording right now, you've got just a few more days to order it. As of right now, 11 days. This will be available only until February 28th. So what do you guys think? How many of you have already ordered that U2's Valentine Myers? I didn't even see it until like on Valentine's Day, I think. Michael Myers lurking, stalking in the live chat here. Let's see if Michael has anything to say about the Valentine Myers plush. I'm guessing he's gonna be silent on this issue. Heart in the Box Killers. Yes, Teen Wolf Harry Warden is the quintessential, and yes, they should all, if they're going to have these other killers Valentinized, because they also did it to Ghostface too. You twos did. They Halloweened Ghostface and Michael. But yes, where is Harry Warden? And for that matter, both versions of Harry Warden. Of course, now we've got HEK from Hard Eyes. Speaking of which, and speaking of exclusive interviews, I hope you all checked out my most recent exclusive one-on-one interview with Alex McCall. He plays HEK, of course, the Heart Eyes Killer in the 2025 Valentine slasher Heart Eyes. It was a great conversation. He also appears in Megan 2.0, if you didn't know, and of course he's hoping, and I think we're hoping that he's going to be brought back for the sequel to Heart Eyes, which it was recently reported is in the early stages of being developed. So. Ben Brown says, on Friday I watched a bunch of Friday 13th movies. Absolutely. Well, it was Jason's day. Took some Jason cosplay pics. I loved it. Yes, I've seen your impressive Jason cosplays at conventions. Absolutely. Saturn says, other than getting a new Halloween 78 mask, didn't do anything for Halloween. Well, that's cool. You got a new mask. Awesome. Glad you checked out the interview, David. Yes, Harry Warden. Look, you guys, I made a Halloween playlist. You go to our Facebook. I shared it on there over the weekend. It's got a rock version of the Ballad of Harry Warden. You guys should check out, and lots of other really cool stuff. Valentine's music for us Halloween people. You should go check it out on Spotify. Not right this minute, but when we're done here. All right. We have a couple more news bites to look at today. Yes, now it is still very early in 2026. There's going to be tons of reveals, both Halloween related and Halloween movie franchise related as well. And we've already seen some very cool Michael Myers product reveals already in the first few weeks of 2026. And Trick or Treat Studios already kind of has a very popular kind of viral Myers release coming with that mini set, that miniature, the Micromaniacs playset that they unveiled. But they are far from done. And this past weekend, as we're recording this, was the New York Toy Fair, where Trick or Treat Studios took that opportunity to unveil a lot more never before seen new collectibles, horror themed from many of our favorite franchises. Many to be released this year in 2026, and some in early preview of what's to come in 2027. And that includes some new Michael Myers merch. So let's take a look at it, starting with this brand new, officially licensed from Halloween 1978, a giant size 12-inch Michael Myers collectible figure has been unveiled from Trick or Treat Studios, and he is currently up for pre-order, priced at $69.99. And this pre-order, it is a timed pre-order, limited quantity, and as of this recording, you have 23 more days to place this pre-order. It is estimated to begin shipping in September 2026. Now, Trick or Treat has released a few of these giant-sized, 1 foot tall collectible figures, and now, of course, they will bring the shape into this form, this line, this scale. I can't wait to own this one. I'm so stoked that it is Halloween 78. You can see a lot of the articulation there, even just in this stock photo they've got. You can see that the feet are articulated, the way that his legs are positioned, the knees are articulated, the arms obviously, and that tilted head. Very cool that this Michael figure will be able to rock the iconic tilted head. There's another look at him. Here, let's get a up close look at this one. Yeah, there we go. Nice mask sculpt. Hair looks sick. I mean, this looks really nice. Trick or Treat is really, they've put out some amazing figures in a lot of different scales in recent years, and I think a lot of it is because they just want to own certain scales that the other companies are not really doing a lot with, and I think that's why we get this 12-foot monster. Also unveiled for the first time anywhere at the recent Toy Fair in New York, Trick or Treat had on display there at their booth this brand new, officially licensed Halloween 78 5-inch scale collectible figure set. And of course, they will be available individually. This line includes Michael Myers, Laurie Strode, Dr. Loomis, and young Michael Myers. And when Trick or Treat dropped their official 2026 catalog a few weeks ago, one of my favorite things I saw in there at that time was the new 5-inch scale Trick or Treat collectible figures. They look amazing. And so now I am stoked that we have Halloween 78 represented in this new scale as well. So cool that they're including Laurie and Loomis in so much of this recent merch. Each figure comes with its own accessories. Michael, obviously, a knife. Laurie, I mean, the pumpkin is placed with Laurie, so maybe the pumpkin comes with her. But what is definitely included on the glass there is her needle. And what's in her hand there, you can't really tell in this photo, but it's the coat hanger. With Loomis, he is holding his pistol, and with young Michael, he is holding the knife. I am assuming young Michael also comes with the clown mask that is just removable, and they don't have on him right now, but really cool to see young Michael represented as well. I hope to see more young Michael merch out there. I can't believe there's not more young Michael uh, like Funko products, be it the Toony Terrors or the Pops or any of that. But so now these items, as you can see in the back there, they aren't due for release this year. This is again just I just watched an interview from the convention floor with Trick or Treat talking about these figures, and these were literally the very first prototypes painted and just on display there. They will be released in 2027. So something to look forward to next year. And in that same interview, which, by the way, you should check out on the Mad About Horror YouTube channel. They did a great job with a whole booth tour of Trick or Treat from Toy Fair. But that representative of Trick or Treat in that video did state that there will be more characters from Halloween '78 to join this line eventually. So, just like we've seen when Fright Rags did the 3-inch '78 figures, we're gonna get another wave or two of these. I would guess next to be included would be Linda, Annie, maybe Brackett. Um, who else do you guys think? Who would be the fourth character after Linda, Annie, and Brackett? I guess Bob would be the next one in line. What do you guys think? You guys know I love some collectible figures. My wallet's not going to be loving it after all these are released. But again, I got a little bit of time for these Halloween ones. But those trick or treat ones are coming this year. Yes, David says PJ and Annie. Yep, and then Annie. I think that would be them. David says that's the same sculpt on the one footer as the Scream Greats figure. Yeah, they just made a larger version. Yes, I do recall. I think they said that in that video I watched as well. Teen Wolf says, I really hope at the end of this year we get first news of 50 years of terror. Might be too soon though. Well, let's see. When is that? That's not next year, right? That's the year after. Yeah, it's in 2 years. Um, yeah, it might be a little bit too early for that, but we can hope. I'm just getting caught up on some of your comments. Yes, I did see um, that interview that Sean did on Dead Pit. And yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on that next week. Um, that's going to sell out in minutes, yeah. I do have one more cool merch reveal out of Toy Fair to look at. Look at Michael lurking once again. This posted by the Preternia.com account on Twitter or X. This is from NECA, and this is the NECA Fortnite crossover. Michael Myers, licensed from Halloween 2, and that's why he looks a little odd here, because it's not supposed to be movie Michael, it's Fortnite Michael Myers as he appears there, and that's why he is playing a keyboard. Looks like he's actually playing the theme too. Like actually got the fingers on the right keys. It looks like maybe. I guess I don't know. I've not played it, but I guess Michael is walking around playing his theme on keyboard in Fortnite. I'm guessing. What do you guys make of that? I mean, obviously a must-own figure. If for nothing else, I mean the uniqueness of it is just so cool. See, it comes with Jack-o'-lantern too. I mean, that's the Billy puppet next to him, and he's wearing like some sparkly Crocs. So I guess all that is inspired from Fortnite, but more icons, Fortnite versions coming soon from NECA to slash all of our wallets later this year. I think that's coming later this year. David said that would be great to get Carpenter to sign. Oh yeah, with him holding the keyboard. Yeah, that would be amazing. All right. Before we get into my review of the Halloween novelization illustrated, and of course we'll do some shout outs and see some other what other discussion we get into here this evening. I did want to play you a flashback video, and this ties right in to well, to this, which I'm going to be talking a little bit more about here in just a minute. But you'll recall about 2 years ago when this gorgeous Halloween Illustrated was released, we had the artist, the illustrator, Mr. Orlando Aracena, also widely known as Mexifunk, and we had him here on Halloween Daily, and we talked all about his origin story, his background as it pertains to this franchise and working on this franchise and getting this gig, and so in honor of that, we're going to take a look back at a bit of that conversation with Orlando back from 2024. Not quite 2 years ago, but just under 2 years ago, as we're here tonight. And again, I urge you to check out the full interview if you haven't already. This particular clip, though, is particularly specifically talking about getting the gig, getting the call to take on this project, and exactly what it meant to Orlando as a hardcore Michael Myers Halloween fan, like we can relate to, like we all are. So I'm gonna play this clip right now, and then we're gonna come back and we'll talk a little bit more about this beauty, because yes, it only took me 2 years, but I finally finished reading it. It didn't really take me 2 years, but it did. I did finally actually read it only recently, from cover to cover. Finally. All right. Watch this flashback clip with Mexi Funk, and then I will be right back here live, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll be lurking here in the live chat, just like the ship.
With this particular project, when I got the phone call and they're like, "Hey, would you be interested in doing the renovelization, an illustrated book?" I practically pissed my pants. I was just like, "What?" I was like, are you kidding me?" And and he was like, "No, honestly." And I was like, "Wow." I mean, we've been chatting here and there about touch and go, about different possibilities. Are you really like just fucking with me, or like we gonna do this? And he was like,
Yeah.
"Well, we got a window that we want to hit, and we know that you move fast." And I was like, "Okay, how fast do we need to do?" Because at this point, I knew that there was a novel out there from '78, but like most folks, I jumped on the whole collector thing rather late in my life, and I didn't know that there was so much to the novel.
Yeah.
And when I got my hands on it, I went through it and I was like, "Holy wow, wow!" I thought I knew this property. I thought I knew Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And then you read the novel, and I was just taken back by it. And I remember talking to Steve, and I'm talking to Phil. He's also part owner of Printed in Blood, and having conversations with Compass Group.
Yeah.
And wanting to know, okay, well, what are the guardrails?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a higher than holy property for some of us. And
I was going to ask about that, if there were parameters that they gave you.
Oh
yeah.
man, Matt, having a background with with being respectful to certain brands, or being focused on what the goal is to try to not upset the community or the audience. It's like, here I was really happy, and I was enormously just, honored with the invitation and the opportunity. But at the same time, I have to tell you, I was kind of shit in a pickle, because I was like, okay, what do you guys want?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, we want you to do you. All right, we want you to do Mexi Funk. We want you to do what you're known for, but with our property, with our baby."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Whoa, hold on." I said, "Are you asking me to reinvent everything?"
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not cool with that.
Yeah.
Maybe some other artists would have just jumped at the opportunity at the jugular and said, "Oh my God, I get to re-envision, Michael Myers in my own way."
Mm-hmm.
I was the opposite. I was like, "Hell no, man." I mean, that's, I wouldn't want, I would, but deep down, out of respect, I didn't want to. Mm-hmm. If anything, I said, "Okay, would you mind if I basically kept very true to the visual DNA of what's been established with Carpenter and the film series and the first movie?"
Yeah.
All right. And they were like, "Yeah, we have all the rights to all the likenesses. Like there's not going to be any type of legal battle and back and forth that, so and so actress doesn't like
Hmm.
how she looks here on this page. Like you make the call, and you make the call for everything that hasn't been visually integrated from a director's point of view, from a cinematic point of view. And
Yeah.
that was really, really exciting, like really, really exciting because, uh, it allowed me a lot of wriggle room to
Yeah.
explore all this early upfront family history storytelling,
Yeah.
and it's it was enchanting, to tell you the truth. It was just like, wow, okay, let's get really into it, look at it from like a very horrific but romantic eye and respectful.
Yes.
And it came about, but it was tough. When I asked Steven, I was like, hey, how many illustrations are we talking about? He was like, well, I already got an outline of the book, and like how I'm thinking where we could position things. And I'm like, cool. I'm thinking in my head, like maybe, 25 at the most, because, you want to tell the story more. No, he already had like planned out like over 200. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, you want 200? He's like, yeah, can we get 200 like in like 2 months or so? Whoa. I was like, okay, time out. I've got other projects I can't say no to. I got to juggle them, so it was wild. I think, you know, um, instead of what I really, really wanted to do was try to do this all outside of this digital vector world, right? That I'm
Yeah.
known for. And I really wanted to go back to like just really traditional kind of
Yeah.
watercolors and play with my airbrush like I used to many,
Hmm.
many millennia ago. And but looking back at it, I'm glad I didn't make that move for the actual illustrated, storytelling,
Hmm.
because when you play in that kind of traditional art, it's a pain in the ass to have to go back and correct anything. If anybody's like, hey, can we just position
Oh
this person
yeah.
off this way and change the look on this person? And it's like, are you kidding me? This is all original art. Like there's no Command Z undo features here. I mean, this is it. You
Yeah.
want me to start? You want me to make those changes? I got to start all over again.
Hmm.
But I'm glad that on the tail end of everything, one of the options that we have for the collectors out there on Printed in Blood is, this big premium package where, you get the posters, you get the autographs, but you're also getting an original, you know, ink drawing,
Oh yeah.
handed in. Each one is different. It's not like I just created these things and then,
Hmm.
hey, let's just scan off about 300 of them and just tip them in. No, I mean, each one is significantly different. And I'm very happy that we were able to negotiate and throw that in there, not just for the collectors and for
Yeah.
the property, but for me to have like a part where I'm like, okay, at least I'm including something that folks could really, sink their teeth in as far as like an original piece, not just a copy of something, something, something manipulated.
Sure. Yeah. And I love hearing that because I wanted to ask you about that, about the parameters and about the balance of, because yeah, some of your illustrations are, I would say, more literal, like what we've recognized from the
Yeah.
films and we know from the story. And then other ones, are, I'd say, more abstract, more like, stuff. And again, there's a lot of stuff in the novel, like you
Yeah.
said, that is not in the film, and it's just
Hmm.
fascinating in its own right. And you're able to illustrate some of that, and then some of it's just more kind of cerebral illustrations of what's going on. So I wanted to ask a little bit about that balance, because I see both in there, and I like both, and I like
Hey, thanks.
seeing stuff that we don't see in the film because we all know it by heart and we love it and it's perfect. And but here we get this, just it's like more to chew on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and it was really tough when we were out on the floor in Pasadena
Yeah.
at the H45 convention,
Yeah.
right? Celebration. Like a lot of folks were like, so what's the difference between that coffee existing art book, because Printed in Blood had put out this big, beautiful multi-artist collection Halloween celebrated book. So people were kind of
Oh yes,
perplexed.
the
They're like,
art
well,
book.
what's
Yes.
what's the
Hmm.
difference with the art book between this? And
Yes.
we had to tell them, well, about the novelization, and then their eyes blow up and they go, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? A 1978 novel. I don't remember that. And I'm like, well, so and so has it over there for $1,000 at that booth. You know what I mean? And they're like,
Right.
wait, really? So what is this? And I'm like, well, being a fan of like the golden age of illustration and children's book,
Yeah.
and NC Wyeth, being one of my favorite, like, all-time
Hmm.
American illustrators. I saw this as that platform where I was like, oh man, I'm so happy that Printed in Blood sees it the same way that I see it, and Compass sees it the same way, when we're going to create, not just pull straight from the movie, but we're going to basically,
Yeah.
you know, add in so much more to this novel and make it into a visual storybook.
Hmm.
Not just a script book, or a storyboard book where it's like, oh, okay, well, here are the sequences in order. When
Yeah.
they told me, hey, we do want you, we would appreciate if you would bring some cadence and respect from
Yeah.
the cinematic world. And
Sure.
for me, I was like, that's sure. Can I play with it though?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah,
Hmm.
just don't be afraid to pull from it directly if you want.
Right.
And I said, yeah, no, I'll pull here and I'll make a big, beautiful collage, of Jamie and the shape and
Yeah.
here he is on that, you know, iconic scene where he's hiding, standing right on the sidewalk when
Hmm.
they first glance at each other, and he's right by the hedges. And, I really wanted to capture that. So I was really, really thankful that, there weren't like these big, strict guardrails of like, you must, you must, you must, you must, you must. And I'm also glad that they were like, do as you wish,
Yeah.
and I had a lot of fun playing around with like throwing in Easter eggs
Oh yeah.
on the upfront of the novel, where we talked about kind of the old celebrations of Samhain and like the
Yeah.
Celtic days. And
Hmm.
if you really look at the positioning of some of the composition and the iconography, there's some Celtic runes in there that symbolize certain things and their positioning, whether it's life and death, whether it's being a puppet, and you got to look really, really, really into some of
Yeah.
the illustrations, like when you have a witch riding alongside of like death and a big goat kind of nemesis entity, and they're flying over the city. I mean, over this, you know, uh,
Hmm.
little sleepy town. Um, I had a lot of fun just playing around with. I love doing research and I love culture. So anytime I'm able to dip my toes into that, I really bring it to the front and just embrace it all and just put it out there.
All right. We are back live. It is Michael Myers Monday, February 16, 2026. I'm just watching a clip of my interview with artist Orlando Arocena. I don't want to get these pages messed up, but man, I mean, that's some of the type stuff he's just talking about. These wild images, especially as he mentioned in that clip, the early parts of this novelization, which is wild. And that illustration is so wild. Look at that. Look at that. That is nuts. I mean, the movie never really evokes anything like that. The movie's script never really evokes anything like that, arguably, but man, the novel does kind of, but what a strike. I mean, I love it. It is so wild. All right, so what we have here is the official Halloween 1978 novelization by Curtis Richards, reprinted with brand new original illustrations by artist Orlando Arocena, aka Mexifunk. Now, Printed in Blood, who published this gorgeous edition, was kind enough to send us this copy way back in 2024. It was released, and I immediately started going through it, started devouring it, started enjoying it, and then I put it down because I am a slow reader, and I was also enjoying the gorgeous artwork. But I did the mistake of putting it down, and then I got distracted, and then a few days and weeks went by. And this just kept happening to me. I would go back, I'd get a ways into it, and then I'd get distracted for another couple weeks or another couple months, and then I'd go back and I'd forget what I was doing, or I just wanted to go back and read. So I was like, I just want to have it all in one little room in my brain here. And So finally, a couple weeks ago, just took a couple hours and a couple days in a row and read from cover to cover and soaked in every single image in here. And I have to say, this is one of the most awesome uh, companion pieces to that original movie that has ever been produced. Let's just first talk about the novel itself, the novelization, because it was famously out of print for many years, very hard to find. So just having that, forget about the artwork for a minute, just having that, totally worth the price, totally worth it. And to be able to finally read it and see every little minor difference, addition, subtraction from the film, it's fascinating to me. Now, some of the impressions that really jumped out at me in reading this in full. Um, Obviously, there are things in here that are not in the film, mainly in the beginning, including the amazing prologue. I mean, this opening, which transports us hundreds of years back into the past, almost back to like caveman times almost, right? And it's this kid, Inda, and he falls for this girl, and she's incredibly frightened and terrified of him. Uh, because he's got like a deformity, and this scars him in unimaginable ways, and he ends up um, attacking, and then he attacks this girl and this other and the guy that she likes, and the entire village then literally tears this little killer boy apart, and he is cursed. His soul is cursed to walk the earth forever, basically reliving this night, and more or less inhabiting killers and being the shape. And this is kind of the novelization's origin story for what is Michael Myers. And it still doesn't even explain it much deeper than even I have just now, but it is just so fascinating to read all of that in there, and to just have that backstory. And again, the movies, we always say it's choose your own adventure. Well, to me, this novel is yet another adventure you can absolutely choose. You don't have to. The entire mythology can start with frame number one of the film, but it can start with page number one of this novelization too, if you want to choose that adventure. Now, that's just one of the many fascinating differences in here. I mean, we get a lot more in the beginning of this novelization, before Halloween night of 1963, that, of course, we don't get any of in the film. A lot more with Michael's mom and dad, grandma, and, of course, Judith, or Judy, as she's referred to a lot in here, and Judy's boyfriend, who he's not Steve like he is in the film and in the novelization. I think his name is Danny, which that's just one example, because Danny is actually a character used in Halloween 6, and Halloween 6 writer Daniel Farrens pulls a lot from this novel. There's a lot of Halloween 6 in this novel. There's also a surprising bit of Halloween 2 in this novel. And it's very obvious that certainly Daniel Farrens, and I know this also from interviewing him about Halloween 6, but in the case of Halloween 2, it's very, very obvious that they Carpenter and Hill, in writing Halloween 2, did read this novelization and did pull certain things from here. Or, in fact, whatever version of the script that Curtis actually read and based most of this on, because, when they write these, the movie's not done yet, so that's why a lot of things don't match up. Maybe that was an early version of Carpenter and Hill's script that had certain elements of Halloween 2. And I'm talking about the Samhain stuff, or Samhain as they say it in the film. It's supposed to be pronounced Samhain, but Loomis talking about that. There's of course a lot of that in here, as it is in the Curse of Michael Myers, and the Curse of Michael Myers, of course, could arguably be canon to this novel in a lot of ways. Michael's own grandma gives him kind of a speech very similar to what Mrs. Blankenship gives to young Danny in The Curse of Michael Myers. So it's just fascinating, all the stuff that you get. And Orlando even alluded to this too in our interview, that there's so much, especially in that beginning part, that you don't get, and it's just fascinating backstory, optional backstory even, but fascinating nonetheless. And then of course there are other differences as you go in. One of Loomis's iconic lines from Halloween 2, the "you don't know what death is" line, is actually said by him in the novelization of Part 1, which I was surprised to see. I was also surprised to see, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but Loomis's speech in the Myers house to Brackett about the devil's eyes, I don't believe that exact speech is in the novelization. But there is tons of dialogue and interaction that we don't see in the film. Brackett talking to Loomis, and just talking about a friend of his who read a book about a carnival in hundreds of years ago, where people would put on masquerades and lose their inhibitions, and it led to these crazy, wild massacres and atrocities. And this is Brackett and Loomis talking about this, and just, again, fascinating stuff, to just deepening the idea. And another thing that the book does, which again I was very it's kind of shocking to see, Curtis actually takes us into Michael's head a little bit. We get a little bit of POV from Michael himself, and that's wild to see, because other than the Rob Zombie films, the other films, that's the one POV we don't get. I mean, we do get it literally, visually, but they never really take us into what he's thinking. Rob Zombie does, of course. The novelization does, at certain times, let us know actually what he's thinking and why he's making certain decisions. Not a lot now, not as much as the zombie films, but it's in there. It's wild that it's even in there. So all of this stuff in here, and then of course all the stuff we know and love, and it's described in such deeper detail. Like, again, just the Judith kill, and they go. I say they. Curtis Richards, aka Richard Curtis in real life, he goes in great detail, telling us that, I mean, she was stabbed at least 31 times. We knew she was stabbed a lot, stabbed in the breast. He makes a point numerous times to let us know that some of those stabbings were in the groin too, I mean, like really letting us know that part quite a few times. Um, yeah, it gets very graphic at certain times. More so than the movie, because the movie is famously not graphic at all, really. Certainly not at all by today's standards, not at all. But so the book's much more graphic, in the sex as well, much more graphic with Linda and Bob. You learn much more just about what's going on in Annie and Linda's heads, and what more of their backstory. But I find myself again still just thinking about the stuff with Michael, his grandmother, and we find out that his great grandfather also had this curse. Again, the curse of Michael Myers pulls a lot from here, um, you know, but this is that curse from the very opening um, of the novel of Inda, and so it's run in the Myers family in this. It happened before, generations before. He heard voices, and again, this is echoed eventually down in Halloween 6, which pulls from here of that film's young boy Danny hearing voices. That would be revealed to be something else with the Man in Black, but in any case, um, now let's flash forward to the ending. Right, the ending of the film slightly different than in the ending of the novelization, which again I was kind of surprised at, because that film ending is so perfect. This one accomplishes the same thing, but it really is more of a combination of the film ending and the very opening of, again, Halloween 2. In this one, Loomis comes, looks over the balcony after shooting Michael 6 times, and Michael's still laying there. He's not gone. But he still instinctively reloads because he knows it ain't over. He's going to get up, and he's going to be ready. And so he and Lori then walk downstairs. They don't say the famous boogeyman line yet. They get downstairs, they go out into the yard, and again, this is where it's kind of like Halloween 2. Loomis comes out the front door. In this version, though, it's Loomis with Lori. They come around to where the balcony is, and that's where they see that the spot where Michael was, he's gone now. And that's where she finally does say the classic line, "It was the boogeyman." And he says, as a matter of fact, it was. Um, so most of the classic dialogue from the script is in here. Some notable exceptions. Um, it's just fascinating, the extra stuff. It's like bonus features. You know what I mean? Like deleted scenes almost. Now, let's talk a little bit about the art. And again, I mean, I wish I could. Um, I mean, you guys all own this, I think, by now, but it's just so much gorgeous art in here. Every one of them could go up on the wall. It's so amazing. And when I interviewed Orlando about coming up with some of this, I talked to him about how some of it is interpretations that very much, make us think of the movie, but some is very more, cerebral and out there, and especially again going back to the early parts of the book, especially. Um, there's a lot of this throughout the book too. Just little images. See, there's Annie hanging out of the window and stuff, and they all go along with what's happening on those pages. Now, I do have a minor criticism for Printed in Blood on future editions and projects like this, just to consider, because my only complaint with this entire presentation, it's so great, but at certain times, because as you can see, the words go over the illustrations very often. Not always, but very often they do. And sometimes, this page, it isn't a problem, but on some pages, it's either white, the type is either in white or black always, depending on how light or dark the image is that it's going over. But every now and then, it's a little too dark. to have the black type, and it's just too hard to read, or it's a little too bright to have the white type, and it's just. I mean, I can read it, I can make it out. I got to put on my old man reading glasses, but just to keep in mind, even I think if I had perfect uh, vision, it's still a problem on a couple of those. But that's really my only criticism about this edition, because it is just so awesome otherwise. Other than a few typos, which I did find on there. So if you guys need an editor or anything, that's true. Not gonna lie, I did find a few. I should have wrote down every time I found one, but there's a couple. Now again, they might have been typos that were in the original novelization. I wouldn't be surprised if they were. I don't know. I don't own a copy of that, but it is just so cool to finally have that novelization, and then to pair it with these images, which again, I mean, it's stuff like this, which feels very 78, but then there's stuff like I showed you earlier, just really cool stuff. I mean, he's playing with shapes, literally. So much cool stuff. So now, I'm not here to compare what's better or what's worse. I mean, to me, the movie is perfect the way it is. So if you were to say now, is the story, is knowing all of this stuff, does it make it better? Is it better this way? No, because the movie, what makes it perfect is you don't know so much about Michael or what drives him, and that is what's most terrifying at the end of the day about the shape, right? But again, as like a bonus feature. Oh, and we also find out that Michael killed a little girl. He had another killing when he was young at Smith's Grove at a Halloween party around bobbing for apples. I mean, you see that down there? I mean, that is insane. It's so awesome. It's so cool. No, you don't want this in the book. So, that's why Carpenter and Hill were genius in their script to have everything so perfectly not explained. But again, to have this as like a compendium, a set of bonus features. It looks so good, this artwork. And sometimes it's exactly what's being described. Sometimes it's a little more symbolic, but it is always striking. And as I read it, I would read each page, and then I would soak in each page's artwork. Here's a cool moment. Again, you spend a lot more time with Judith and her boyfriend. He even has a Frankenstein mask on at one point. Lots of cool details like that. Yeah, I said, get to meet Grandma Myers. There she is. Giving little Mikey a hug. So, again, I mean, to me, this is definitely a must-own for franchise fans. I think it's so cool that they brought the novelization back after all these years, and just the idea to present it with all of this artwork, I think is a really, really cool idea. I mean, these almost every one of these is something that I could see going on our wall. if we had any wall space left in our house. Of course, that is. And as Orlando said in our interview with him, you really got to look deep into some of these images and really just see. I love that. No print at all on that one. Oh, it was so awesome. So again, I mean, yeah, 5 out of 5 pumpkins is my review for this release. Having never owned or been able to read the original novelization before, to have that and to have it in this form. Oh, and here's another difference. Spoiler, but in the novel, Laurie gets a little revenge for Judith and stabs Michael. Not just stabs him, but stabs him in the groin. Specifically in the groin. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty specific. This looking amazing. So again, I love this edition. I think it's a must own. I think the novelization is awesome in its weirdness. And at the end of the day, as we always say, I mean, in a franchise that is a choose your own adventure franchise already, this novelization is yet another adventure that you can choose. This is the prequel. And would I like to see some of this put to film eventually? I mean, we have seen some of it. Like I said, there are a lot of things in here that made it into H2 and a lot that made it into the Curse of Michael Myers. But all of that prologue stuff with Inda and the village people and all that, that could be something really interesting in the right hands. Conceivably, in the right hands. That could be really interesting. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. Canon is the original film. Everything beyond that, or before that, is choose your own adventure. So, that's my thoughts on Halloween Illustrated from Printed in Blood, written by Curtis Richards and illustrated by Orlando Aracena. Let me know if you own it. What do you think? What do you think of the differences, the added stuff? When I talked to Orlando, he said it. He's like, I thought as a fan I knew everything about Michael Myers and Halloween, and then you read this. It's pretty wild, pretty mind-blowing to say the least. But this is a gorgeous book to own. All right, give me your thoughts on Halloween Illustrated now. I'm going to put it down because it is heavy. Yeah, I know a bunch of you already own it and probably already read it years ago. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it once I finally just forced myself to take the time and so much interesting stuff in there. Now I'm gonna have to read it all again in a couple weeks probably. All right, give me your thoughts on that. David Hyam loves the vibes of the book. Yeah, I mean, there's so much Halloween in it. I mean, and it's so descriptive. Yes, Teen Wolf, I agree. Yes, Daniel very much gave us, so much of that novelization in what he did, and had that film been its full potential ever, I think it probably would have been even more closer to the novelization. But yeah, I loved reading Myers' grandma, basically giving him the Mrs. Blankenship speech in Halloween 6, which is like my favorite part of Halloween 6. Yeah, I have to get all the older novelizations now. 2, 3. I think Printed in Blood. Hey, there you go. Printed in Blood. Let's do Halloween 2 now. Halloween 3, 4. All right. Before we get out of here, and before I forget, we are going to do a couple shout outs right now. So let's jump over to Threads, where we have what do we have here? Oh, posted by the great Tyler Main over on Threads last week, right ahead of Valentine's Day. But I figured I'd share it because Tyler, as he's done in recent years, actually made his own Michael Myers Valentines. So, again, one more Halloween post. Because we love some Myers. All right, jumping over to good old Facebook. And this was posted by Connor Patrick today, who got himself a new H4 mask. I'm going to skip to there it is. And he explains in this video that it was apparently pulled from the original H4 sculpt, I believe, is what he says in this. Looks pretty accurate to me. All right, jumping over to Instagram. This one posted today by Satan Mingle, and as you can see, they tagged us. That's always a good way to get our attention and maybe get featured here on Triple M Live. That is the poster pumpkin replica from PCH, I believe. Looking very nice there. And then they've got I thought that was like a person cosplaying as Laurie Strode. And then I looked closer and realized it's like a Laurie Strode bust, I guess. Pretty well done. Another one from Instagram today, posted today by Paul Bearer 80. Celebrating some H2. Always a good time to celebrate some H2 if you ask me. And one more for this week from Instagram, posted by the legendary Christopher Nelson, who says a little Michael Myers Monday behind the scenes doing James Jude Courtney unmasked makeup. And that's what we have here, a great new shot of Mr. James Jude Courtney getting his unmasked makeup applied by Christopher Nelson, of course, for Halloween Ends. All right. And of that, ladies and gentlemen, is a Michael Myers Monday live show. You guys, next week we're going to have a fun one. Make sure you come, bring some good questions for Sean. We're going to be starting at our earlier start time, 8:31 Eastern, 5:31 on the West Coast. And like I said, I want you guys to bring your best questions and discussion for Sean as it pertains to this franchise, but because it's a special night and we can step outside the Myers bubble a little bit, just a little bit if we feel the need. Um, Only if it's a good enough question, though. But no, I think we're going to have a lot of fun, some cool stuff to talk about. I'm looking forward to just getting kind of an update on just the current state of the con industry, state of the con, we'll call it, state of the convention address, and going into 2026, and see what the outlook is from his unique perspective at such a place in the industry where he's at, and tons of other stuff I'm sure we'll get into. Have Blake Satan Mingo, that's me. Yes, yes. Well, it's very fitting then that and I didn't even know that, but see, channel members get all kinds of shout outs on here. That was an accidental perk tonight, but okay, yeah, we'll take that too. No, honestly, I didn't even realize that at the time, but awesome. That makes me like that post even more. Thank you, Blake. And again, thank you for your support being a channel member. Thank you all for your support in being a channel member. As always, channel memberships are just $5 a month. Early access to our interviews and tons of other cool stuff. Super chats are enabled. You can always help out by donating any amount in there. That helps us out. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Lots of cool stuff coming, especially in the next couple of weeks. I got, like I said, some Scream stuff coming. I got this week's double feature of 2 new interviews. We've got Sean Clark joining us 1 week from tonight for Michael Myers Monday Live. And who knows what other surprises might be coming your way. Well, I have a little bit of an idea, but as you know, we are a news organization, and sometimes breaking news just interrupts regularly scheduled programming, and surprises happen. And that could happen tomorrow for all we know. We might wake up tomorrow and there be some breaking news interrupting our regularly scheduled programming. But for the most part, that's what we've got programmed at the moment for the immediate next few days. So make sure you don't miss any of that. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. We appreciate you too. Comment on everything that we've talked about down in the comments below. All of you guys that have hung out tonight in the live chat, thank you so much. You guys rock. We love you. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure your notifications are on. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. Let everybody know about next week's special event with Sean. We really want to try to fill up the discussion as much as possible and make it worth his time. He's taking time out of his schedule to join us, so we really want to make it worth it and make the most of that time. So be here for that and everything else we got coming your way. Thank you all. This has been fun. Happy Michael Myers Monday. I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. You guys rock. You guys rule. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Good night, Haddonfield.